Where we hanging out and what we doing, we can't really disclose, but it's definitely a 15-year-old's dream. He signed to Usher.
I'm signed to Usher.
I had legal guardianship of Usher when you know he did his first album. I did Usher's first album. I don't have legal guardianship of him, but for the next 48 hours, he's with me. So yeah, and we gonna go full crazy.
Going crazy.
Look at this. Somebody come look at this.
On September 16, 2024, music mogul Sean Diddy Combs was arrested in New York City and charged with racketeering, trafficking by force, fraud, or coercion, and transportation to engage in relations for money. Prosecutors allege Diddy ran a criminal enterprise involving forced labor, kidnapping, and bribery. At the center of it all are so-called freak-offs, orchestrated erotic activities where Diddy allegedly directed men and women in X-rated performances. Many were said to be unknowingly filmed and blackmailed. Purportedly, victims, some underage, were controlled using threats, violence, narcotics, and money. Raids on Diddy's homes uncovered videos, firearms, and curiously, over 1,000 bottles of baby oil and lubricant. Combs denies all charges, but if convicted, faces up to life in prison.
We are committed to bringing justice to everyone who's been victimized by the defendant.
I hit rock bottom.
A lot of people don't know this, but what Diddy did to 50 Cent will leave you speechless. 50 Cent said he stayed at Diddy's house for 3 days, and what he saw was hard to explain. Diddy invited him to talk about business, but things got strange quickly. 50 said, "When I arrived, Diddy made me promise not to close any doors without keeping things secret. As soon as he walked in, he saw a party that shocked him, something he still can't talk about. He even had to go outside, but he could still hear strange noises from the house."
The last hearing before Sean Combs' trial starts, when he walked into federal court today, he appeared to be looking for his family. They've pretty much been at all of the hearings that I've been to, but there was no presence of his sons or his mother or his sister who had previously been at those hearings. So here's what came out of today's hearing. Number one, the government acknowledged that they offered Combs a plea deal. Combs acknowledged he has no interest in taking that. They're going to move forward with the trial. They also talked about the jury selection process, which one legal expert I spoke to said is probably the most important thing that you want to pay close attention to before the actual trial starts. And thirdly, we learned that Combs will be adding 2 new attorneys to his defense team. And just to recap, Combs, who is 55 years old, could spend the rest of his life behind bars if convicted on sex trafficking and racketeering. He has pleaded not guilty to all charges.
Sean Diddy Combs is facing another long list of sexual misconduct allegations. He's in jail awaiting trials on charges of trafficking women for sex parties. He's pleaded not guilty. An attorney in Houston says he represents 120 people who say Combs abused them as well. The allegations are disturbing.
Our youngest victim at the time of the occurrence was 9 years old. We have an individual who was 14 years old. We have one who was 15. 25 of the 120 individuals who are plaintiffs in these cases were minors at the time of the acts complained of.
Combs' lawyer said he denies any claim that he sexually abused anyone, including minors.
The music world watches in stunned silence as one of its most powerful figures faces the fight of his life. When expectations about a case reach fever pitch before trial, it can sometimes work in unexpected ways. The stakes couldn't be higher for Sean Diddy Combs as his trial approaches. Despite mounting pressure and the possibility of a lengthy prison sentence, the music mogul has made a decision that shocked many legal observers, rejecting a plea agreement that could have significantly reduced his potential time behind bars. The entertainment titan now faces an uphill battle from the confines of a jail cell. After a magistrate judge denied his bail request, citing concerns about potential witness intimidation and flight risk, Combs has been forced to prepare his defense while incarcerated. During his most recent court appearance, observers noted something unusual: the absence of Combs' typically supportive family members. In previous hearings, his sons, mother, and sister had been fixtures in the courtroom, presenting a united front. Their absence raised eyebrows among those following the case closely. Despite the mounting evidence against him, Combs' legal team remains steadfast in their defense strategy. They emphasize his innocence and frame his refusal to accept a plea deal as taking a principled stand not just for himself but for others who feel targeted by the government.
Justin Bieber recently made headlines after allegedly claiming that Diddy had done him some horrible things when he was younger. Furthermore, it was alleged that he was frightened upon discovering Diddy had been taken into custody. Fans have often wondered how big of a relationship Justin Bieber and Diddy had, as it all began when Justin was just starting out in Hollywood as a teenager.
One of the major challenges facing both legal teams is the cloud of misinformation surrounding the case. Public perception has been colored by social media speculation and comparisons to other high-profile cases, creating additional hurdles for jury selection. When questioned about the possibility of a plea bargain, Combs' legal team expressed doubt it would happen, citing their client's firmly held belief in his innocence and his determination to fight the charges. Outside the courthouse, a small group of supporters gathered to show solidarity with the embattled music mogul. One vocal supporter expressed complete confidence in Combs' innocence. Despite these declarations of support, the legal reality remains daunting. Prosecution has amassed substantial evidence, leading some observers to question Combs' decision to reject the plea agreement. While the exact terms of the rejected plea offer haven't been made public, the judge was fully informed of the details when making her decision about pretrial detention. Combs' legal team hasn't given up on securing his release before trial. They plan to appeal the detention decision to the trial judge, hoping for a different outcome. Meanwhile, despite the case's high-profile nature, both prosecution and defense teams appear surprisingly confident about jury selection. Legal analysts suggest Bieber's testimony could resonate powerfully with jurors, as he brings a reputation for candor about his past mistakes and a commitment to personal growth and faith, qualities that often connect well with everyday citizens serving on juries. Sources familiar with the pre-trial proceedings indicate that Bieber's involvement isn't based on rumors or hearsay.
I think that I was just, living in this shame, living in all this sort of stuff of my past, and I wasn't able to move on.
Talk of the video comes after footage of Diddy and Justin also resurfaced on social media recently.
Not anyone could just be in the position that I'm in.
During several confidential meetings with prosecutors, he reportedly described receiving invitations to exclusive gatherings presented as listening parties or networking events. According to those familiar with these sessions, Bieber attended a handful of such functions early in his adult years at locations connected to Combs or his associates. Prosecution plans to question Bieber about specific details of these events, arrival procedures, security protocols, rules regarding electronic devices, and required confidentiality agreements. While Bieber hasn't claimed to be a victim himself, prosecutors believe his observations could provide crucial evidence supporting their timeline and establishing patterns of controlled access and strict security measures. From a strategic perspective, Bieber's testimony carries unique weight precisely because he lacks any contractual grievances with Combs. The jury will hear an account from someone without financial disputes over royalties or publishing rights, potentially lending credibility to his observations. The news of Bieber's cooperation has triggered contrasting reactions. Supporters view it as aligned with his recent emphasis on transparency and ethical responsibility.
"Oh, I'm unwell," end quote, on her Instagram at the same time as he's posting these images. So one of Justin's friends have recently spoke out about how the pop superstar has gone off the deep end recently with supplies,
pointing to interviews where he's advocated for accountability throughout the industry. Critics question whether his decision to cooperate with federal authorities represents a calculated move to distance his brand from potential controversy. Regardless of motivation, this unusual alliance between a millennial pop icon and the Department of Justice seems certain to dominate headlines well beyond the courtroom. The story has already generated intense interest across traditional and social media platforms. Behind the scenes, Combs' defense team has requested full disclosure of all communications between prosecutors and Bieber's legal representatives. They're examining whether any special arrangements, immunity guarantees, reduced civil liability, or scheduling accommodations were offered in exchange for his testimony. Prosecutors maintain that Bieber approached them voluntarily after learning his name appeared on preliminary witness lists compiled from confiscated guest records. They insist no special concessions beyond standard witness coordination were offered or requested. The judge has ordered a private review of these communications to ensure proper discovery while protecting sensitive investigation details.
I just wanted to be a good example, and it was hard for me being that young and being in the industry and not knowing where to turn, and everyone, telling me they love me. And
beyond the immediate legal maneuvering, Bieber's involvement fundamentally shifts the emotional dimension of the upcoming trial. Until now, media coverage has largely framed the case through the lens of industry insiders turning against Combs' people whose careers were directly tied to his success. Jurors might reasonably question whether such witnesses harbor financial grievances. Bieber, by contrast, represents complete commercial independence with separate record label relationships, management teams, and endorsement portfolios. When he takes the stand, the narrative expands beyond internal disputes within Combs' empire to examine how that empire intersected with mainstream pop's global networks. Prosecution intends to leverage this shift, using Bieber's recollections to show how strict entry requirements, privacy protocols, and event formats remained consistent across musical genres and throughout different time periods. For Bieber himself, the decision to testify reflects complex personal considerations. Having navigated his own public legal issues early in his career, he later pledged to use his platform positively and speak truthfully, a commitment he's referenced in documentary appearances. Advisors note he carefully weighed potential industry backlash, knowing that cooperating against another music figure might strain certain professional relationships.
Combs allegedly planned and controlled the sex performances, which he called freak-offs, and he often electronically recorded them. The freak-offs sometimes lasted days at a time.
However, advisors also highlighted the reputational risk of declining to testify if later subpoenaed, which could make him appear evasive or complicit. By choosing cooperation now, Bieber positions himself as forthright, an approach that has served him well during previous career transitions. The events leading to Bieber's involvement trace back through several intersecting investigations. Early witness lists compiled from digital calendars and guest management applications seized during raids on Combs-affiliated properties included numerous celebrity names, many redacted in court filings. Investigators prioritized individuals whose accounts could illustrate event operations without necessarily alleging personal harm. Bieber's name appeared multiple times, connected to gatherings labeled as VIP Acoustic Afterglow or simply Private RSVP. Federal agents contacted his legal team, and within weeks, preliminary meetings were arranged. Those familiar with these sessions described them as professional but detailed, with prosecutors seeking factual information about arrival procedures, security briefings, and departure protocols rather than subjective impressions or moral judgments.
It looks like Justin Bieber has spoken out about how he feels about the Diddy situation, and it's not looking too good, and it's what everybody thought happened. So Justin posted a series of pictures of himself crying on Instagram, and his wife Hailey Bieber also posted the lyric, quote,
Bieber reportedly provided specific details about timing, transportation arrangements, and even music selections from the early hours of one event. Defense attorneys will likely press Bieber on his limited attendance at these events, minimal direct interaction with Combs, and whether security measures, while strict, were truly unusual for celebrity gatherings. They may introduce evidence showing that phone restrictions and confidentiality agreements are standard practices at high-profile events, urging jurors to view such protocols as industry norms rather than evidence of wrongdoing. Their cross-examination strategy focuses on convincing jurors that strict privacy measures represent standard practice across high-profile events, not evidence of wrongdoing. They plan to present Bieber with familiar examples, fashion industry functions, or billionaire-hosted parties where confidentiality agreements greet guests upon arrival. This approach aims to neutralize any shock value, recasting high-level discretion as commonplace rather than conspiratorial. Local authorities are preparing for crowd management challenges unique to pop fandom. Previous experiences have shown that even rumors of Bieber's presence can congest nearby streets. City transportation officials are coordinating with ride-sharing companies to establish designated drop-off zones 2 blocks from the courthouse to prevent gridlock.
It was hard for me being that young and being in the industry and not knowing where to turn, and everyone, telling me they love me and, just turn their back on you in a second.
A 2022 interview from Justin Bieber has resurfaced.
Nearby cafes are increasing inventory and reserving window seating for digital news teams seeking atmospheric footage. Meanwhile, courthouse technology staff have triple-checked digital redaction systems to protect any private medical notes or witness addresses that might appear on displays. A momentary error revealing personal information could trigger immediate objections, mistrial motions, or contempt findings against the responsible party. Senior clerks have reminded teams that viral screenshots can spread within seconds, making every document display worthy of practice under timed conditions. Finally, the morning agenda is set. After preliminary procedural matters and brief testimony from a transportation company representative to authenticate travel records, the main event will begin, Justin Bieber sworn and seated, right hand raised beneath the court seal. In that moment, the distance between music charts and legal proceedings narrows to a single oath: to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. For prosecutors, this represents the culmination of months transforming a celebrity's recollections into the precise format required by federal evidence standards.
All my parties, they're going to be shutting them down. They're going to probably be arresting me, doing all types of crazy things just because we want to have a good time.
For the defense, it provides an opportunity to remind jurors that celebrity perspective is not all-knowing. And for the public, accustomed to highlight reels and filtered social media, it offers a rare glimpse of pop stardom reduced to yes or no precision, against stakes far greater than any concert stage could provide. What do you think really happened at these parties? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below.